Hello, my ladies and guys who like lady stuff. I am Candice Harper Love Coach. I am feeling like I'm going to get the hang of this vlogging thing because I'm starting to like it a little bit. It's easy. So it's Friday, and you know what that means? It's time for terrace talk. So we're out on the terrace, and I'll show you New York City if you want to see it. There's the rest of my house, and there's beautiful New York City. Yay, everybody. Woo! And then inside where my house is messy. Anyway, I'm glad that you are here. Today on the newsletter, I wanted to talk about what to do after you have accidentally released the crazy. And whether it's that you have wrote a very cutting text message, or you were with the person that you're currently dating and you just had a complete freak out about whatever, sooner or later, the crazy will be released. And whether it's him or you, it's gonna happen, because as we're getting to know each other and as we're learning to relate with each other, it's just something that naturally happens. We all have an animal brain, right? So when we're up to big things in the world, there's gonna be times where the frustration level gets to be a little bit too much for our emotional intelligence. And so it's really important that once we've released the crazy, especially if it's early on in a situation, that we know how to mend it, come down from it, and move on from it. So let me first say, if you've released the crazy and whoever you're dealing with has completely disappeared and they're unreachable and they're out of touch and you know, whatever the case may be, or whatever the level of crazy was, then just chalk that up as a favor, because whatever your level of crazy was, whether it was rational or irrational, if they couldn't sort of manage it or deal with it, then you're too much for them anyway. But here's the thing, it's also really important to take responsibility for the crazy. So I have the steps that you can take, especially if you're in a situation right now and you're dating and you have released the crazy and didn't mean to, or overreacted, know that you overreacted, know that it was about something else besides whatever it is they might have done. I have a series of steps that you can follow step by step and actually turn things around. So step one, immediately stop beating yourself up, stop cringing, stop judging yourself, stop making it wrong. You had a crazy moment, and it happens to all of us. It's what happens when something we don't expect or something that makes us uncomfortable occurs, and we don't have the emotional tools to deal with it in that moment, and so we go to what we go to, which is our animal brain, our flight or fight response. We're human, we all do it. Don't make yourself wrong. The other person might be angry with you about it, but that still doesn't make you wrong. It's just what happened. Don't make it anything more than that, right? That's step one. End of story. Step two, stop beating him up. He may have been completely wrong. Whatever it was he said, whatever it was that he did, you know, as long as it wasn't something that physically hurt you, or that he intentionally set out to hurt you, because then that's a whole different situation. But if it was something that was a mistake, something that was just problematic for you for whatever reason, made you uncomfortable, he doesn't realize that he may have been wrong. But now that you have released the crazy, trust me, he is well aware of that fact. So you don't need to keep mentally beating him up. You don't need to keep making him a villain if he's not a villain. If it was a mishap, a misstep, it's okay. Stop making him wrong. Step three, own your crazy. Like I said, we all have a monkey brain, and it's not about, sorry, it's New York, it's loud. It's not about the shame or the blame or whose fault it was or who was right, who wasn't right. If you have overreacted, if you have gone out of character and acted a fool, just own it. Take responsibility for it. Everybody has moments where they behave in a way that they're not proud of, and that they may not have if they would have thought about it a little bit more. So, you know, it's not his fault. He didn't make you get crazy. A lot of times we think that when we have released the crazy, that we can blame it on something that they did beforehand. But you know what? We have to be able to take responsibility. And here's the thing, even if you've been together forever and you caught him cheating and he's butt naked with her panties in his mouth while she's doing something freaky with a cucumber, how you handle all of that is completely and totally on you. Doesn't matter whether a person is wrong or not. What you are responsible for is your response, right? And being able to own that. Step four, if whatever he did was not a deal breaker, clean it up. Let him know that you own what you did. Let him know that whatever it was that he did not warrant your behavior. And also make him aware that you get that he has a perspective, and be open to listening to what the impact of your behavior was. I know that's some tough stuff, but this is what grown women do. Step 5, if he's worth it, offer to make more compassionate choices in the future. Offer to be more of a listener. Offer to wait for the crazy to pass before responding. If you're someone with a hair trigger, offer to take a look at that and let him know that you're working on that. Now, if all of those things don't actually mend whatever went on between you two, if it doesn't actually have him, ready to resume the dating, it's so noisy where I live. If it doesn't have it resume the dating, then that's okay. That just means that you're not compatible. If whatever your angry response was something that he didn't like or couldn't handle, it just means you're not compatible. And there's somebody out there who would get it. If you cleaned up what you said, if you took responsibility for it, if you understand where you were coming from, you didn't threaten anybody's life or hurt anybody physically, there's somebody out there for you that would understand you when you come to clean it up and take responsibility for it, would not judge you, would not criticize, would not need to make you wrong. So if you're dealing with someone who cut and ran because you got a little too angry, then let him go, because you're not for the faint of heart. And so here's the thing: if you want to be able to just allow yourself to have your emotions, feel your emotions, and take responsibility for them, and if you want to be able to be responsible for all your own baggage, and better yet, actually deal with your own baggage so that you don't have to have these moments of crazy that are accidentally released, I have a book. It's called Baggage Free Bad Bee. And it's all about sort of cleaning out the past, excavating the past, and all of the things that sort of trigger us so that we're not so easily triggered. And, you could also work with me. I have a 30-day program called How to Powerfully Connect with Any Man You Want. Sometimes I call it Any One You Want, because it works for all relationships. And that's another way to sort of get to a place where you can communicate in a solid, powerful, effective way without having to continually clean up what you've said or what you've done because it was an overreaction to whatever someone else said or did. Now, I also don't want anyone to think that I'm absolving anyone of any responsibility, because men are just as responsible for their behavior as we are for our behavior. But there's something about being a grown woman and being able to clean up your mess that attracts men who can do the same, and men who are willing to do the same. And it's not your job to change anybody, but it is good to be the kind of woman that inspires a man to want to be his best. So that's it for today. That's it for the vlog today. I'm glad that you joined me. I have a couple things because, I'm trying to get really good at this so that I, just do it without even thinking about it. But there's a couple things I want to tell you. I'm like a grandma when I vlog. It's like trying to remember all the things that the YouTubers say. So I want you to subscribe to my channel, because this is going to show up in the newsletter, but it's also going to be on YouTube every week. And if you want to make sure that you're notified, if you're not on the newsletter and you're watching this from YouTube, you want to make sure you're notified when my vlogs come out each week, because I'm going to be talking about all different kinds of dating stuff that's really important to you if you are a powerful single woman and you really want to get your love life in gear. I want you to hit the thumbs up button if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, and even if you haven't, hopefully you thought of doing it. But hit that like button, because the more you like, the more it gets out there. And then also, I want you to comment below. If you're watching this on YouTube, which you probably are, or even on my site, I have a Facebook comments on my site. If you're watching it on YouTube, comment down below. Let me know if you have any questions, whatever comments you have. I love constructive criticism. I even love, I don't love trolls, but who cares, whatever. Comment down below, because I love interaction, I love conversation, and I definitely want to be able to answer your questions. Now, last but not least, I want you to remember that what we speak, we create, so be mindful of your magic. All right, I love you so very much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here in New York City with me, and I will see you next week. All right, wishing you love and life.